Here we go. Welcome on in, my family. We're doing something a little bit different today. I will still be channeling on the 15th. No more skulls, though. I don't want to use the skulls right now. So, all the messages that will be channeled, you'll just be simply picking a number. All of the readings will be identical. I'm going to do something I haven't done live on YouTube before, which is dropping a multidimensional reading. I'm going to be dropping a multidimensional reading for number 1, number 2, or number 3. I know when you hear the words mind, body, spirit, you might think I'm going to pick mind, body, or spirit in that order. There will be a message for your mind, for your body, for your spirit from the highest, most benevolent form of the Virgin Mary, Kuan Yin, the white buffalo woman. We're channeling the Galactic Mother today for all 3 messages. They will be multidimensional, meaning I'm going to drop cards, and then I'm going to drop more cards over those cards to show you what we've been doing in Patron. That's how we drop readings for the patrons every Saturday at 12. If you're interested in those readings, we do that for the week to let everybody know what's going on. Yeah, I'm really excited to be doing this. Part of it was like almost like some sort of strange like protection, like I was protecting this type of reading because no one else is doing this. But yeah, I'm very excited for this. So it's very simple. You pick a number. We're going to be channeling the message that Spirit wants you to have based upon your intuitive pick of the reading. All of the readings will be what you are needing to hear. What is the answer to the question that you might have been asking, or the question that you should have been asking? That is what you've been feeling to ask. So trust the number that you pick. Trust what you're getting. Trust the message that's coming through, since it's coming from the divine benevolent mother herself. So this is going to be great. I'm excited about it, at least. Quick galactic update, which I will be wanting to share with you. I've been wanting to share with everybody for a while, but I wanted to talk about how life might seem the same, but life is very different right now. And what I mean by this is people used to be able to be in a loop. And a lot of what we were doing were repetitive patterns where we were attempting to break this loop of love, this financial loop, this loop with our business, this loop with our family, this loop with karma, this loop with life as a whole. We've escaped this place. We are now in a new place where there is no loop. It might seem like the loop is still there, but we're either going up in the spiral or we're going down in the spiral. And this goes for everybody around you. This goes for your family members. This goes for your friends. This goes for your loved ones. This goes for your beloved. That's why I wanted to make sure that you guys had this message, because, just picture it like this. We can be going up in the loop and then be going down in the loop. So there can be sort of a pendulum effect like this, where people used to just like seriously be stuck in a loop. Like this was like, it wasn't moving up and down how it can be now. This is why it feels different. This is why it seems different. And this is why you're being asked to, just literally like be on the case of your loved ones. This is why you're speaking to people differently. This is why this is coming through, because if you see that somebody that you love is going down in a hard spiral, it's your responsibility as the starseed. It's your responsibility as the most powerful person in your family. It's your responsibility as their lover to interrupt this downward flow, because it isn't the same as it was before. And this is why you're seeing this. People are saying things that you've never heard them say before. You're seeing these things that have drastically shifted. So I wanted to explain this to you. This has been coming through for a while, but Spirit wanted me to wait until the appropriate time to tell you this. And it was probably about like 3 or 4 days ago in the daily where I finally, like, Spirit was like, boom, I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay. I was like, I can finally share this. Excellent. Because this has been something that I guess Spirit wanted you to observe this and notice this before this was brought up. But now, going forward, tomorrow, later today, in the upcoming present moments, pay attention to this, notice this, and what you will see is there was a certain stubbornness with certain people in your reality before, where when they were going down in the spiral, when they were in their old loop, you couldn't interrupt it. You absolutely, positively can interrupt this now. This is something that can be done when you are communicating in your divine essence, when you are communicating what you feel, not telling people what you think, telling them what you know, telling them what you feel, and what you're feeling in your stomach, what you're feeling in every cell of your body. This is very important because, like I said, if the people that are the most important to you are being allowed to go down in the spiral, you're essentially allowing yourself to go down in the spiral. So we have to interrupt this pendulum swing because it can feel like a loop, but it could get worse before it gets better if you don't start to use your skills, use your gifts, and identify what you're seeing and not allowing these things, however these people would self-destruct when really, like, what is A? Like, that's my question to you, like, going forward. It's like, what truly is A? It's like sometimes people will be fighting, they'll be complaining, they'll be angry, and they'll be telling you it's F or G or Z all the way over here. And then eventually, like, we've all had these situations with mom or, lovers, like whoever, where eventually A comes out and you're like, well, I see why you're upset. A makes sense. But the thing that they're comfortable enough to bring to your attention is that C, is that H over here, where that's the thing they're able to bring up. But when your logical mind is hearing this, it's incredibly irrational. You're like, this doesn't make sense. Like, this is why these things used to happen in your love life. This is why these things used to happen with that old friend, that person you haven't talked to in a while, or that person that you just dealt with this past week. This is the remnants of that old loop, of that lack of safety. We are safe. They are safe. What better way to show somebody that they are safe, to get them going back up in the spiral, even if that isn't at the same speed that you're moving up in the spiral, by addressing this, telling them, not asking like, are you okay today? Just be like, hey, brother, sister, I can see that something's going on. Let's sit down for a second. Let's talk about it. When we take that role, when we take that presence, and we really, create these walls. Like, a lot of what's been going on is, it's almost like seemed like a lot of you have reverted, and you're like, oh, I yelled at somebody. Oh, I did this or that. You didn't make a mistake. Like, that is the grandmother's essence coming through. This is, if anything can be considered a loop, it's that. This is the equivalent of us watching. It's not even the equivalent, it's the exact manifestation. This is the only way that we ever saw that grandpa listened to grandma when grandma said enough is enough already, and then she yelled, she raised her voice. So sometimes these things are coming through and they seem disruptive, they seem angry, it seems like you've reverted, it seems like, oh, I could have said that better and done that better. You just saying and noticing that you could have said or done something better is your self-regulation. That's what's most important right now, is you self-regulating yourself. All these terminologies of like, oh, that's bipolar. Like, this to me is the biggest disservice, this word of being bipolar, when we're like omnipolar. Like, we're all talking about how we have these multidimensional aspects and these starseed lineages and these archetypal functionalities. And there's this belief structure of, I can't like have this moment where I have a moment of weakness or sadness, or my inner child's feeling wounded, and I go, that's fine, I don't care. And then it's okay to go, oh, I don't care. And then just go, boom, you know what? I said that, I do care. Because some people, they're like, And you can see it. You've seen it in their eyes. You've been in arguments or debates or fights with people, and you've seen like their eyes go like, I don't want to still be fighting, but it's almost like I have to. And that whole like, I have to keep fighting thing that's going on, that is because they're like, well, that would be really bipolar if I went from this angry to this happy. That's not the case. That is absolutely not the case. There's something there that needs to be addressed. There's something there that the oracle knows. And the oracle doesn't even speak. Like, that's the message of the high priestess in the tarot, is those that know don't say. Like the high priestess card, like she usually just is like with a glance of her eyes, giving you a full paragraph, giving you a full story, more than that could even be said. Sometimes words are actually like deteriorating the conversation. They're deteriorating the message. And she comes through when she finally does talk. And this, I'll use organization as the example of how I would love to get this through to you guys right now. This is like, and especially the guys will know this especially, but you ladies have been on the other side of this. This is the example of, you're like the guy comes home and he's like, I forgot this thing. I forgot this appointment. I messed this thing up. And the oracle comes through, and what does she do? She's like, maybe you could consider getting a daily planner. And then it's like, the next time he does it, he doesn't get the planner. And then like next time he does it, and he's like, oh man, I forgot this thing. And well, yeah, I think you should get that planner I was talking about the other day. Third time it happens, it's just like, well, did you get the planner yet? Fourth time it happens, it's like, well, I've been telling you to get the planner over and over again, and like you still haven't gotten the planner. Like, this is the recipe for the only way that she can be heard is for the destructive masculine to come out and finally, on the 5th time, 6th time, 10th time, yell, well, you're so effing disorganized and you don't have a daily planner. Get the daily And then what does he do? That's when he's like, he picks up his phone and he's like, I better order 2 planners in case if I lose one, have one for. And he finally listens. This is what we watch Grandpa do. This is what we watch take place, and obviously in different forms. But I'm giving everybody an example of like, you're like, oh damn, I remember when that happened with my ex or with my wife. Oh, I remember when that happened with my boyfriend or my hubby. I remember like telling him that, and then it was like, yeah, I finally had to yell. But that initial message was something that was to build this person up, was to help this person, was to interrupt this cycle, interrupt this, like, if it's ruining their day, it could potentially be ruining their energy. If they're at a lower energy resonance, then you're now having to leave the where you could have and would have been if they came home in a good mood, if they came in home in a happy mood, which is what your oracle's knowing. And this is for the guys too. I know I just said like, oh, this is what the guys are doing, these are what the women are doing. Like, that's a whole other dissertation for another day, talking about the oracle coming through the masculine and how confusing and how that process can really be. But everything that I'm talking about, this is not separated by the sexes. The guys that are watching this as well, you have a divine oracle. It comes through in the same way. It doesn't come through in the same way. Sometimes she's coming through and you're like, oh, I don't want to say this. Like I said, this could be a whole dissertation, but the one piece I'll give to the gentleman watching is you'll be like, oh, I don't want to say this. I don't want to interrupt the day. We're in a good mood. We're in a good place today. I don't want to say that because then it might cause a fight. Like I said, conversation for another day. But what I'm getting to is something that we've seen is people are only listening when we yell, when they yell. So whatever it is that you yelled about, this was about your boundaries being broken. You let these people know, whoever you yelled at, okay? To those of you that are like, oh my God, I know exactly what he's talking about. And this could have been a couple weeks ago. It's happened recently. Whoever you yelled at, you let them know of an invisible wall. You let them know of a boundary. Like, here is my boundary. I don't want to like thing that might be mundane or silly, but I don't like to do it. I don't like to have like heated conversations in my bedroom. So like, let's say this happened. I'm getting in an argument and it's in the bedroom, and I'm like, okay, let's take it out of the bedroom. Let's take it out of here. Let's take it out of the house. Let's go for a drive. Let's take it out of the temple. Like, let's not have this bouncing around in here. So I go like, oh, let's get this out of here, and that doesn't happen in this boundary. And obviously these boundaries are stronger than that, but they might seem like something silly, like, you know, this thing with the garbage, or this thing with this wasn't done, or it's like, I left you a note to take this meat or vegetable out of the freezer and you didn't do it. It might seem like it's that, which is the J, when really we got to get to the A. So this whole like getting to the A, and what I'm getting at with you guys here is when we are having this energetic boundary, this energetic wall becomes crossed. Now we're having to actually build. And like I said, this seems like a backtrack. It's not, I promise you. It seems like a backtrack when this energetic wall gets broken, when this energetic wall gets trampled. Now it's like, okay, now all of a sudden you started putting an actual physical wall between you and these people, which is not physical. It's a physical, emotional wall. But this wall is what was the container. So you could then fill up the energy to fill up the container to truly finally get your truth across, to truly finally get the message of healing, this thing that you've been saying over and over and over again. I mean, how many times, like in the comments, how many times have you guys seen this where you're like, whatever it is, even if it's like a psychic vision, and it's just like, you know, I would say to somebody like, oh, I think this is coming from a past lifetime in Ireland. And then it's like, I think this is coming from that past lifetime in Ireland that I saw those months ago. I think this is that Ireland lifetime that I keep bringing up. And then all of a sudden, whoever it is, he or she comes home or stops by, and they talk to this brand new person. They're like, you know, they figured it out. We figured it out. I feel so much better. It had to do with a past lifetime in Ireland. And you're just like, you're like, what the F is going on right now? I know how triggering that can be to your oracle. I know how triggering that can be to your inner child as well, because it's like, this is this thing that you kept seeing and you kept seeing. So sometimes these things are happening that way. But here's my thing to you. If you did have this situation, which the huge majority of you had, for this to be this galactic update, if you had this situation, have you not noticed that there's been improvement in this person since? Okay? So forgive yourself, because you did no wrong. It is not wrong to become upset when your energetic boundary has been trampled. When you let somebody know, hey, when you do A, B, C, I get to D, and D is sad. So please don't do A, B, C. If they do A, B, C, then this needs to come out. We used to be able to bottle this. Oh, I don't want to kill the vibe. Oh, I want to be happy. I want to do this. We need to figure out as a civilization different ways to not bottle up the anger, not bottle up the sad, not bottle up any of these frequencies. I think it was it Brenda? Yeah, it was Brenda. Brenda said yesterday, I was talking about something similar to this in the Patreon, and she said, I'm just like trying to remember this, so I might say it wrong, but she said it used to be good vibes only. Now it's real vibes only. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, ah, I love it. I love it, sister. Thank you. Hope you're watching now, sister. So it's like, and that's the facts. Like, how do we be in our truth? To be in our truth, we need to be having these real vibes, expressing what our real vibes are. And it's like, I mean, to me, like, that's like when you get to the other side of it, when you get to the other side of patience, which I don't do every single day in every single present moment. I'm not saying I never lose my patience or get upset or have an outburst anymore, but I've had these brief moments where it's like something beyond patience, and it's like nothing could interrupt it. And I'm kind of just observing life, almost like in an omnipresent moment, which I wish could be just every moment of every day. And I'm sure one day it will, to get these glimpses of the future and those present moments in the past. But what I'm saying here is what we're thinking and what we're believing and where we're getting to. We might not even have the docket of information. We might not even have the piece yet of what's actually possible. So we have to go through these things. And one of the greatest examples I can give you is, and like, what a sweet, and, I'll call it, I think it's adorable when I do this. If I get mad, so someone cuts me off, Someone cuts me off, 23-year-old Alexander will be like, you effing speeding, racing him down the street, trying to get my car back in front of his. That's obviously not the way. Okay, I'm not saying that's the way. But to me, it's actually kind of like scary being on the other side of this now, thinking about the people that are just like, the person cuts them off, they bottle it up, and like everyone else in the car is just like, what is that feeling? And then they're like, you okay? Or what's going on? Are you like, are you mad? Are you this? Or like their heart's racing. They don't know why their heart's racing. It's like, and like beloved looks over at you and just goes, are you okay? Like, what's going on? And you're like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. No, you're not. No, you're not. So the example I'm giving you that I've been doing to let people, if something's upsetting me, as silly as this is to some of you, I'm sure, just letting out like a little like, grr, grr, letting out that little growl, because now instead of the energy being stuck inside my body, I'm letting it out in a playful manner. I'm letting people know around me, hey, brother, sister, mom, if you hear me doing the little playful growl, it means that I'm actually annoyed. And this is my way of getting the energy out of my body. So it's not just in here tainting the waters of the body when you're up to 75% water. And I'm sure that 99% of you have read the hidden messages in water. You're either blessing your water or deteriorating your water. So if something is angering you, like I said, I think it's scarier. The person that's just smiling through it and they're like, I'm fine. Like that is literally, to me, that's like a recipe for dis-ease. I'll just say it that way. I won't say what dis-ease I actually think that manifests, but we can't allow these things to still be inside. So I give you this little piece of the growl. And maybe you guys have some stuff you can share in the comments. Maybe you have, something you can share, little tips and tricks you've figured out on how to do this and how to do that, and we can all grow together. But forgive yourself. If you yelled, you were supposed to yell. If you yelled, if you really look back, something got trampled that you asked not to have it trampled. And therefore, if this person, who's most likely what they did was they went against being the divine masculine, they went against being the divine father figure in that role. We all are all these roles, but there's this role that you were like, be dad, be grandpa, don't do these things. When they did that thing, you had to let them know. You had to do this, and you had to do it in the only way that you saw that it's ever worked to finally get your message through. So what is this really? This is not an ultimatum. People look at it as an ultimatum if, how's the best way to say this? It's not like, oh, if you keep doing A, B, C, I'm leaving. And most people's ears will be like, you just gave me an ultimatum. No. Here's the real facts about it. If you keep doing A, B, C, then I need to protect my inner child from you. Therefore, I need to remove my inner child from this field, because you keep doing the thing that my inner child and my mother figure and my divine feminine do not want to happen. So therefore, if you cannot get a hold on this, I need to protect me. This isn't about your abandonment issue. This isn't about codependency. This is about me protecting me so I can be the best form of me and stop doing this whole crabs in a bucket thing that we got going on. So forgive yourself. I love you all so freaking much. We're going to get into the first reading. So Galactic update. Oh my God, 23 minutes. So 23:51. We're going to do reading number 1. Okay, so pick number 1, pick number 2, or pick number 3. We're going to get right on into it. It's physics. Carol says it's physics. I love it. It is physics. It is physics. If energy can't be created and it can't be destroyed, and the energy is coming out of you, if the energy of this, whatever this situation is that annoyed you, of course, it is physics. Okay. All right, let me move this over here. Tap that so that stays lit. I'm going to pull up the other screen so you guys can see the table. What are the readings? The readings are mind, body, or spirit. Number 1 does not mean it's guaranteed going to be mind, Brother Bo. It is going to be 1, 2, or 3. And one of those will be a message from the Virgin Mary, Kuan Yin, the White Buffalo Woman. I'll be moving into my channeling state and pulling in the information that's most beneficial for you to know. Trust the number you pick. Trust the number you're getting. And you also don't have to pick a number. You can also just say mind, body, or spirit and wait for that reading. So without further ado, let's get right on into this and get these messages. Okay, so I'm going to shuffle. I'm going to drop a reading, and then I'm going to shuffle another deck, and I'm going to drop another reading over that reading. Okay. Okay, we're doing the body. All right. Yay. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to get deck number 2, and we are going to shift deck number 2. We're going to put more information over this information. If you see a reading like this anywhere else, you know where they figured it out. Okay. Yes, you can. Well, I'm gone. Okay. All right. Okay. So this is about your body. Those of you that pick reading number 1, those of you that pick the body, here we go. Okay, so we got a multi-cloud cover here. We have the high ground and something that has to do with the moon. So this is about you taking back the high ground with something that's taking place in your body right now. Whatever the pain is, whatever it is that you've been dealing with, whatever the reoccurring structure is, whatever the thought is with weight loss or muscle gain or this thing or whatever dietary restriction, there's something that this has to do with an old version that is no longer even here. You moving into love and stepping into and choosing being this unstoppable force of light, this unmovable object of love. Something has shifted in another reality. Something has shifted on a higher or lower dimension. You have left something behind, because here we have multidimensionality and the magic. Your magic has done transmutation on some aspect of the self by taking time and doing this. Something you were manifesting shifted with every new moon, whether you were aware of it or not, what you were manifesting and what you were thinking. You were thinking these things during the new moon, and these manifested during the full moon in the past. because of your multidimensional magic. So now let's take a look at the present moment, seeing what this is. There's still a thought structure that this is still here. Well, I can't do that. I can't do this. I can't get that done. Oh, yeah, what about that leg, that hip, my back, my lower back, whatever this is. And it doesn't have to be an exact pain. It just is a pain or a reoccurring thing that you've been preparing for, or you've been moving in a certain way that you don't need to move that way anymore. There's something that needs to be released. There's something, it's done. You completed it. Whatever it was connected to your family line. It's like almost like I hate to use the C word, but it's almost like a curse, or a karma is even better, that was put upon the DNA. It was put upon great grandpa or grandma, and this is something that it's done. It's already done. This is done here in this present moment. The only thing that's not done is your belief structure, because you knew, okay, if I touch that, it's hot. If I touch that, it's sharp. If I rub my hand across that table, somebody didn't sand down the wood right, I might get a splinter. And that's not the case. So this is limiting something that can be moving towards your progression. This has been manifesting certain things within the friends, the people that you're drawing in, this whole crabs in a bucket thing that keeps coming through. There is something that's been a reoccurring pattern that seems like a loop with these friends, with these people that, like, yeah, it's been healing to have these conversations with them, to share with them. But there's some sort of blockage here now in the future. This is what you're able to see. Because here it comes again. It's hard work. It's hard work. You're manifesting those hard work. This bottom row is energetic and spiritual. The top row is the physical. So this is saying that the back pain, the hip pain, the whatever it is, the thing that you manifested in your body before you came here, you agreed, I will go into this. This will get me in touch with that. I will help this precious family line that I know from other lifetimes on other planets, and I will help them transmutate this thing. You are the shining example. Your team is letting you know. We literally have the spirit guide and the victory card in the message for other dimensional versions. They want you to know you're victorious when you decide you're victorious. If this thing, I've seen this multiple times where I feel somebody's pain, and I tell them all the time. Actually, I don't tell them very often, because more often than not, the pain isn't real. But every once in a while, somebody's like complaining about their leg or whatever. And I'm like, I tune in on my body and I don't feel it. If I don't feel it, the pain is real. If you, as an empath, talking about this whole like pendulum thing with people going down in the spiral, whether or not this message is for you, this might be a message for somebody else in your field that's going down in the spiral, or does this thing where they self-sabotage every time they are going up in the spiral, they go down in the spiral because of this pain. If you're an empath, which most of you are that are watching this right now, like upwards of 90%, like, yeah, pretty much every single one of you is an empath. So just assume you're an empath. And to those of you that aren't, you are, you just got to like internalize and realize that you're looking at something as if everybody can do it. And it's a gift. Okay. It's absolutely a gift that you having a feeling in your stomach, you like seeing these things and knowing these things before they happen in dream time. What I'm getting at is this. If you're an empath and you're feeling somebody's pain, I promise you the pain is not real. There is a reoccurring thought process. There is a thought structure that keeps manifesting the pain, because what's beyond the pain is much worse. If they keep thinking this thing that is disrupting and affecting the waters of the body, and then the long-term effect of that is not lower back pain. The long-term effect of that is much, much worse. We're not even going to talk about that. The lower back pain is the guides, is the other dimensional versions, is the crossed over family members that are like kind of like pulling and playing that chord to be like, hey, you're worrying about money. That's why your lower back hurts. Hey, you're worrying about this. That's why that happens. Hey, you're thinking that you're dirty. That's why this happens. Hey, you're not in true worthiness. That's why this manifests in your body. These things are not real. These things are messages from spirit to let you know that the long-term effect of thinking that thought is not only slowing down and limiting your mission that you came here to accomplish, but they're also, the long-term effect of those is much worse than a little tightness that you could absolutely deal with the appropriate thought structures, with the appropriate doing this sort of Bikram yoga, or going and get a personal trainer so you know that you're working out and your form is proper, or just whatever it is. This has to do with your work life, and how you're moving around. And guess what? If you move around like an old man, you're going to become an old man energetically. This is something that it's really about how you are doing things, how your flexibility, the flexibility of your mind is having an effect on the flexibility and the limber nature of your body, is what this is saying. And it all has to do with what you are in this reoccurring pattern, that it was real. It was real. Maybe you have there was a car accident or something, and that was the excuse to be like, oh, well, my neck's been like this ever since your body and your team can be very good at having you find the answer to what's going on here. But if you picked this number, if you picked the body, and that was the message that you wanted, they're wanting you to know that for you and for most of the people in your life, pay attention to what you're feeling. If you're feeling their pain, if you're feeling their lower back pain, example, they're worried about money. If they're worried about money, they're going to create more money worries. They're going to create more lack. They're creating more of what they're saying that they don't want. These people are the reason that there is obstacles on their path. That we have this belief structure that like life is suffering, that is in all of the dogmas, and you have to suffer to attain something great. This is no longer true. Okay, maybe it was true in the realities that we were born in. It is not true here. The path is clear. The path is smooth. If there are old broken bicycles and broken down cars and rocks and pebbles and fences and obstacles, you are the reason that those are there. They are the reason that those are there. So doing what you can to transmutate these things from the mind, from the body, and knowing that they're not real, that's going to be 99% of the healing already. And that's it. In the wind and rain. Why can't you see? All right, what's next? Let me write down the time. 37:17. Number 2. I don't even know what number 2 is. I know that Spirit wanted me to pick the mind. Okay. They want me to start shuffling before I tune in which one it is. Okay. Could be the Spirit, could be mind. Who knows? But the fact is, it's going to be a great reading. Somebody should have. Ooh. Wind and rain. Okay. Okay. Spirit it is, by the way. All right. More cowbell. I picked mind. I go next. Mr. Telephone Man, something on my line. Picking return. I'm interested to see what this is. Oh, what a weird bridge. Oh my God. Oof. Okay. Oh. Okay. Oh my God. And then there's her twice. Okay. And the moon. Is that the same deck? The moon's at the bottom of it again? Okay. So the work you're getting done. Spiritual work. So this is talking about spiritual work for your spiritual body, for your spiritual energy. Okay. So there's something you learned. You learned something about betrayal. You learned something about something that hurt you in the past. This has been a reoccurring pattern. This has been a loop for you, your family, your archetype, your spirit as a whole. You learned this. You learned this thing that was karmic. Here's the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. You learned this thing that's karmic. It had to do with the feminine. It had to do with the mother. It had to do with this fire that comes from the grandmother that we were talking about in the Galactic Update. It's very similar to that, but it's very different as well because it's in both realms. We're having this in both realms of physical and spiritual, and we're having her in both realms of physical and spiritual. So this is showing pure multidimensionality that you came here to balance. The way to balance it is truth. You know this is truth. You know it has to be truth, and it has to be multidimensional truth because it's saying physical. We're having mental right here, knowing it by heart, and then spiritual. This one's just floating. So doing these mind, body, spirit readings, it's like saying this is mind, body, spirit, but it is something energetic. You were not wrong to think like, what is this pattern? Is this a pattern? Is something going on that's energetic? It absolutely was energetic. It was more etheric and astral and causal energetic when we're talking about this multidimensionality. This is something that has to do with your job as a divine oracle. This is what your feminine oracle wants you to know. Here we got the moon and how to get it done and you doing the work. This is about your energetic, your spiritual mission, your metaphysical mission, because we get right here and we see this has something to do with your fire that comes up, your fire of her. Okay, there she is twice. When your fire comes in, when something is going wrong with the children, when the children are being like, you want to get whoever picked this number 2, or whoever picked spirit, you want to get them riled. Well, you shouldn't want to get them riled, number one, because this is like the grandmother's fire of incineration. Just don't do anything wrong to the children. They're going to lose their minds in the best possible way, in the worst possible way. This is something that is finding its way off the planet. I don't know why it's still going on here. It shouldn't still be going on here. These people, their days are numbered. Mark my words. I sit here and stand here, and where are they? Trying to defend this. It's inexcusable. It's unforgivable. So whatever that fire is, trust that fire. Do not let that fire consume you. And remember, there are multiple forms of fire that have been written throughout all the dogmas, have been written throughout all of the religions. Why is there fire that burns? And then there's fire in these stories and these metaphysical stories that it transforms the person, maybe makes their clothes disappear. And then there's these other fires that choose to burn these people, but these people actually thrive in those fires. That is your fire, mama. I'm talking to the men too. That feminine aspect you have, that fire has nothing to do with the sun. This has nothing to do with this red burning flame. This is that baby blue, cobalt blue, white baby blue, that Syrian Miriam fire that you know so well. And thank you for picking reading number 2, because I relate to that aspect of the mama, and I love that. Okay, so this is having to do with the counseling that may be necessary. There are only so many healing sessions you can do to try to heal this thing that happened in childhood. It's like you might need a coach, you might need a therapist, the other people in your lives might need a coach, a therapist, a counselor, a psychologist, a hypnotist. There's something different. Spirits wanting you to do something different, you to tell them to try something different. This has to do with them showing this and you being part of that them, because it's all me, it's all you, it's all of us choosing what needs to be chosen, and chosen needs to be something new. Like just getting massages to try to heal the pain is not working. Just getting Reiki sessions to do this, if it hasn't been working. If those things have been working, then awesome, do them. There's some other way to actually get this done. There's some other way to do this, to step into this angelic empress, eternal freaking energy of the mother. This is the mother of mothers. This is the empress herself showing up here in the spiritual category with Archangel Michael, with this frequency of the lovers, the soul family. This isn't saying like you are Archangel Michael, but it's also saying you are Archangel Michael, and everybody you're supposed to do this mission with, they're all Archangel Michael. All of you are Michael, getting this job done, boots on the ground, making sure that these children, the children that come from these lovers, the children, the children that are about to be on this planet or just being born on this planet, they have the proper blueprint. They know how to build heaven on earth. The worst is over, is what your other dimensional versions want you to know. The worst is over in regards to the moon, in regards to manifestation, in regards to what's been going on. And this right here is showing the party. This is showing how to build the structure. Like I was saying, the blueprint. These are the blueprints of the 4 walls of celebration, of the fruits of your labor, of this work that is not work. This is something that you would do for free. If somebody was hurting the kids, you would be like, I am on it. Not allowed. Not allowed. That is the grandmother. That is the grandmother. And we've all had this reference of this thing where it's like all of a sudden grandma's mad and grandma's coming out in her little like moo-moo or whatever, and like thugs, straight up thugs, or the police just scatter. They're like, there's a grandma coming. Like, what is she gonna do? Is she gonna like hit you with the cane? They're literally scared of this spiritual energy. They're scared of her fire. They know they can't handle it. They know they can't lay a hand on her. This is something you've seen in movies. You've seen it in life at some point. That is a real energy that will blanket this entire planet as we continue to expand in our light, as we continue to expand in our fields. This is happening. This has already happened. It's just going to become more and more obvious every day when these people that are doing wrong get what is coming to them. It is not your job to dish out the fire. It is your job to be the fire that other people have the access to, that it's their job to dish out the fire. And where are they getting that essence from? They're getting that essence from your galactic truth. They're getting that essence from the sun that you are. And maybe that sun is green, and maybe that sun is blue, and maybe that sun is not this yellow sun that is keeping this body alive and charging this body. But there is a truth that is from off planet. There is a truth that is ancient. There is a truth that is in line with the 7 divine principalities that were created by the original creator of your soul. And when people go against these things, you don't even have to do anything but observe it. That's what they're wanting you to know, ladies and gentlemen, that pick number 2, that pick the spirit, is this is done. This is the reason this has been happening. You do not need to suffer any longer. You do not need to suffer any longer. There was a cause for that suffering, so you could get in alignment with your truth, so you could see what is going on, so you could question, how is this possible? How am I supposed to consider this ascension if these things are actually taking place still? That is on its way out. Be the energy. Be Archangel Michael, but that doesn't mean that you have to swing the sword. You hold the sword. You hold the truth. You hold the divinity. You hold the principalities. You hold the truth. You hold what is you. And what you are is the top of the pyramid, not the base of the pyramid. Are you the base of the pyramid if you're the top of the pyramid? Of course. That is polarity. But what is at the top of this pyramid that I'm speaking of? Okay? There's hope, there's faith, and there's gratitude. When you are in those three together, you are unstoppable. This goes for, it doesn't matter what reading you chose. When you are in hope, faith, and gratitude, and actually sitting with like, well, hope and faith, aren't they the same thing? They're right next to each other in the thesaurus. Very, very, very different things. Very different things. Okay? But just sitting with those truths and figuring out what those things mean to you, that is where your power is holding this, knowing what is right, instead of allowing yourself to accidentally be feeding into it, which you haven't been doing. But what I'm letting you know is sitting in your truth and just observing and watching this movie called life. You do not have to swing the sword. You have to hold the sword. And the sword is right here. It's right here. It's those eyes. It's those windows that no one is going to mess with grandma. No one is going to mess with somebody that they know you're not one to mess with. And your children and the worry is also coming through. There could be a little bit of, well, I worry about this. Well, I worry about that. This is a speech thing that has been put into all of us that we need to catch that. I even said it already during this reading, during this channeling. I said it in the beginning. I said to me, the scariest thing is when people XYZ, and this is what's really going on. Like we have to be able to catch ourselves, family. We have to be able to catch ourselves. If you're worrying about your kids, I get it in the fact that I don't get it, but being worried is going to create more situations to be worried about, and you know that. You inherently know that. So it's trust them, have hope, have faith, know that they are a more powerful version of you. Like just trust instead of just being like, well, I don't want this to mess them up. I don't want that to happen. We have to trust them. We have to trust them. It's the only way. It's the only way. And know that if they are going through something that seems challenging, that maybe we'll need therapy in the future, that was to make sure that they woke up to their potentiality in the same way that you woke up to yours. Whew, oh my God, that one made me sweaty. I figured you did. Carrie Lynn says she picked Spirit. I figured you did. When I started dropping this reading, I was like, I bet you Carrie Lynn picked Spirit. That was like Carrie Lynn 101 right there in the card form. Okay. Well, obviously, by rules of deduction, mind is next. So let's do that. What time is it in the chat? 52:57. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to drink a little bit of water. A little hydration intermission. Are you hydrated? Okay. Ooh, that one made me hot. Oh, God. All right. Whew. Mama gets fiery sometimes. And by sometimes, I mean all the time. They keep giving the credit to the fire, to the masculine. Come on. Come on. The one is in the all. All right. Okay. Where would you be now? Okay. Uh-huh. God, I love that. Yeah. Okay. It's already real. Oh, God. Okay. All right. You're all three readings, Josie. You're all of them. Okay, last one. There we go. Eee! Okay. I was going to call it. I had a feeling it was going to be over here somewhere when I saw that reading, but okay. It's the cloud cover. All right. So we got these two cards that in and of their own essence are a conundrum. This is talking about moving forward with love, and this one is talking about past hurts, cheating, things that are hurting our heart from the past, things that have taken place that were quite upsetting, but they were necessary. They were necessary hurts that needed to happen to get you here, to get your mind here, to get you to notice that spirit is manifest in these ways. We're seeing multi-dimensional lovers, okay? This is talking about multi-dimensional. Let's just talk about it. Let's talk about these things that are going on where you know, like you used to hear a lot of this term of like, oh, astral. This is talking about what's really happening. What's really happening when you have a leaky container? Like, what is really going on with this card that's known as cheating? You know, it's like, oh God, I can't believe we're talking about this live. If somebody is all right, hold on, Mary, please. If somebody is leaking energy out of the container, out of the divine container, it is not a divine container. The divine container requires both people being honest and true. If there's some sort of porn addiction, talking about the porn addiction. If somebody for some reason keeps going and looking pictures at an ex-girlfriend or an ex-boyfriend while they are in a relationship, they are leaking energy to these people. How many times do I hear like, oh yeah, well, I was with this person, I did this while I was in a relationship or while I was married, but I didn't lay a finger on her. Nothing happened. I didn't touch him. Nothing happened, Alexander. I was good. I was good. No, yeah, you were good. What was your dragon doing? What were your shadow aspects doing? Just because you're claiming that you were good in physical reality, what was your mind being allowed to think? Were there any lustful thoughts? What was taking place? Did you feel like being alone with this person was wrong or off? This took place in the past. You've seen that this is going on lately with people in your life that are important to you, and you've now gotten to this new place. You've gotten to this new place of truth. But even though you've gotten to this new place of truth, of seeing beyond the veil, for some reason, there's still this like making of a decision. moving forward while looking backwards. This is a decision you made when you got this, when you learned what you needed to do to be the best you, to be the best lover, to be the best friend, to be the best family member, to be the best you in that present moment so you can continue to improve, so you can continue to get better and better. This, seeing beyond the veil and knowing the truth and not making the decision, that is the recipe for insanity, of going to be doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. You know what the result will be. You know what the result will be for the people that you love, because this whole like moving forward and looking back on the old harvest. What was this harvest? Was this harvest the original creator of your soul going, good job, brother, good job, sister? Or was this harvest like, oh, they still haven't learned. Now they do this. Now they go through that again. Now this happens. What you're wanting to be known is the test that you are going through now, the trials and tribulations. All of this is about to be over. All of these things, all of these thoughts, all of this, like what seems to be reverting, what seems to be deteriorating, it has to do with your divine mission. There she is again. There's that feminine fire again. And this feminine fire is transmutating things. It is ending things. It is ending things. To end things, you have to end things. You have to stop thinking things. You have to stop watching things. You need to know, like, I mean, even just today, I caught myself multiple times. I wanted to open certain social media apps, and I'm like, what are you doing, Alexander? You know that you don't open these social media apps until after you have done your workout, had your shake. And if there's a reading like today, I haven't like opened up any of these apps, but I had to multiple times. I had to remind myself, like, I was like, my hands are going to do something. And I'm like, wait a minute. No. I have a rule. I had to remind myself of the rule. There are probably other reasons why I have that rule. There are probably certain things that I'll get in. I'll lose my dream time. I'll see this, I'll see a pretty picture, and my mind's, it doesn't matter what my reason is. It matters what your reasons are. And when you're feeling, I shouldn't be doing this, I shouldn't be thinking this, this isn't right. You know, it's like this whole like, oh, it's free to watch. It's okay to look. Like these things, like it's like you see a couple driving down the street, and it's like they either are both like checking out a stranger on the side of the road, or one of them's looking and the other one's getting upset. And are they saying it or are they not? The fact of the matter is, the walls of the container within our relationships, within our friendships, within our family, these walls are going to continue to grow. These boundaries are going to become more and more evident. And when that happens, these walls are going to get thicker. These are not blockages. These walls are the container so you can fill up your divine fire. For you to fill up your divine fire, you need to be doing the good things. If you are not doing the good things, if you are not thinking the good things, you're putting cracks in the walls. You're putting cracks in the container. This container is your auric field. It is your mind, because all is mind, that is affecting the walls of the container, that are making open. Oh, there's an attachment from this. If there's an attachment from that, then there's some reason from the mind why that is happening. There is something that happened in the past that is still happening. That is something that can be dealt with. That is something that can be, instead of being pushed out, can be pulled in, can be transmutated, can be like, I'm not stuck in here with you. You're stuck in here with me. That is the fact of the matter. You can control these things. You can end these things. You can stop creating karma that then you're sitting there and having to meditate, having to ask, like, why is this happening again? Why is this happening again? Because this is what unlocked your true strength. This is what showed you as far back as when you were a child. That's like, how come when I take $1, I lose 10? How come when I do this, that happens here? Because you're a high angelic. And when you're a high angelic, you know better. And when you're a starseed, you know better. And when you know and you've learned that it's not tooth for you, like it is for somebody who just started their ascension process. It's tooth for 5 teeth. It's tooth for 12 teeth. Every time you go through this and you transmutate that karma, and then you start stacking that dharma up, you see that it gets worse every time. Okay? I'm not saying this, you're like, Alexander said it gets worse every time. I'm saying it gets worse every time when you go against that feeling, when your stomach is turned, your heart is racing, your body's like, you're doing something wrong, brother, you're doing something wrong, sister, and you continue to do it. We're not allowed to do those things anymore. We're not allowed to allow those things anymore. We need to be on it in our life, in our ordeals, just telling the person, like, be like, aha, I saw you look. Like, maybe there's a loving way to say it, but having a leaky container here, stop complaining about when this keeps happening. Stop. You should know this is going to keep happening. This has to keep happening until you end the cycle. You end the cycle within. You end the cycle and not be like, oh, well, they did it to me. Well, this happened here. Well, this vindictive response, A, B, or C. If you have ended the cycle and this person that you are with has not ended the cycle, the original creator of your soul, God, the universe, your other dimensional versions will expose that person because you do not deserve that. Step into your highest levels of worthiness, claim your field, claim your reality, claim your mind, and control your mind. It is not easy. It hasn't been easy for me. But guess what? It has become easier by me focusing on it, by my knowing what I can do. Okay, well, I can't be watching a YouTube video past this time, or it interrupts my dreams, or it has to do with my dreams. I can't do this. I can't open the social media at this time. I can't look over here. I can't stare over here. I can't do this over there. I can't think these things. I can't watch these things. I can't smoke these things. I can't touch these things. You know what is wrong for you. All of you. You know what is wrong for you. You're in this moment and you know. So why? That's my question. Why is what you came here to do this, like, you're still making a decision? Whatever this decision is, and if this has to do with love, and if this has to do with hurt, and if this has to do with something that you know did take place, something that you know was a breaker of a boundary, was a deal breaker, so to speak, you have to have these conversations. You have to deal with these things. You have to face these facts. You have to face that codependency, that abandonment issue, and know that whatever this situation is with this person, be honest with yourself. What do you see? Are they going to heal it? Is the only way that they heal it is with time and space away from you and your divine light and your pure light, the epic, awesome, freaking unicorn that you are watching this reading? How do they actually do it? Being honest and truthful with yourself on how do I get from A to Z? If Z is the healed place, if Z is the place that I know I need to get to, I want to get to, I will get to, and that's what feels good in my body, that is your receptor of what is right. And that is what you want. So if you know this can't ever happen, then you need to deal with that accordingly. And just know, for everybody, to just finish up not only this reading, but all the readings, there is a major window that is completing. We've gone through the 7-7, epic. We've gone through the 8-8, epic. We went through the 9-9 Eagle Gate, epic as holy crap. We're going through the 10-10. Something major is completing within a week of after the 11-11 gateway, and you will absolutely, I know we already noticed it's different. Something is going to be very different, very, very, very different, because old forces that used to have a strength, we are going to see more and more that they are no longer in power. They no longer have this power that they once had, and we're stepping fully into this age of Aquarius, this age of love, this age of multidimensional power of the mother, the real mother, not the Karen mother. Oh, there we go. All right, so maybe you picked one that was the most important, but those readings, all three of them were for you. Let's be real. Now that we're done, spoiler alert, you can watch all three readings. But yes, one of them is probably a little bit more important. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for your support. The patrons, thank you for making these readings even a possibility. All of the support. Crystal Karn. CrystalKarn.com. Did I show you guys this? Did I show you? Ooh, get this camera out of here. Give me the good camera. Give me the good camera, Alexander. Give me the good camera, Alexander. Oh, with the Crystal Current logo on the mouth, with the gold obsidian in there. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to, oh God, it's so beautiful in Sedona right now. If you haven't visited yet, visit yesterday. It's very, very beautiful outside. So I'm going to get on with my day. I love you all so much. Thank you for being here. I'll add the thumbnails and the times, probably not before my sister V right there adds them. But I will add the times later so you can jump right to the segment that you want to be watching. I love you all so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being on mission. Thank you for doing and going through what you had to go through to get here. And it's going to get easier once we make it through this next step. I love you all so much. I love you. See you later. Did I mention yet, though? Actually, I forgot to tell you guys. I love you.